So now that we know what you don't want, we'll spend no more energy on it. Our complete focus will be coming from here. Because as I said, the subconscious doesn't judge, it doesn't care, but it will act on it. So when the negative thought comes, this training gives you a new conditioned response. It's all about bumping up here, bumping up here, bumping up here, and creating a whole new set of neural pathways that are consistent with what you do want. And you know what happens every time you bump up here and bring this in? These get weaker and weaker until they collapse and the habit's broken, because you've brought in new routines, and these become stronger and stronger until you have a new habit. This is just a success principle. Perhaps you can remember when you had a desire to be a nurse or an accountant or whatever it is you are. You didn't go, well, I'd like to be a nurse, but I'd never pass chemistry. Or the Olympian, I'd like to make the Olympic team, but I probably can't. They never try out. But we've all done something, and when we realize that how we got there is we stayed with it. We could see it, hear it, taste it, smell it, and now it's a fact. And transitioning from smoker to non-smoker, or from any habit, anything we don't want to do, to get to here, it's a matter of shifting the focus. The old law of attraction. You get what you focus on. Okay, the third rule of the mind is what the mind expects tends to be realized. This is your belief system, and you have certain beliefs based on previous experience. Like if you're a smoker, you may have the expectation that within 5 minutes of getting up in the morning, you're smoking your first cigarette. With your permission, we will alter that expectation, so you can begin to experience yourself from the time you awaken in the morning till you sleep at night as an ex-smoker with no ill effects. That always brings a smile. They love that. No ill effects. Okay. Lost my place. So this idea of expectancy, you want to nurture positive expectation, because it's very powerful. It goes along with what you focus on, but what the mind expects tends to be realized. I love the story Dr. Wayne Dyer tells. He talks about this person who hated to go into the city because she'd say, whenever I go into the city, I can never find a place to park. Well, she went there looking for no place to park, so what do you think she found? No place to park. You know, I go into the city, and I round a corner, and somebody's in my parking place. But they're just backing out, heading out, and I get to park there. It's about expectation. What the mind expects tends to be realized. For a smoker, on the telephone, you've already talked to them, and you've explained that on Monday we'll prepare you, Wednesday you'll quit, and Friday's a reinforcement session. So this principle is already at work. They're already expected to quit on Wednesday, or they wouldn't be here on Monday. So it's working for us. The fourth rule of the mind is that the body that feels all emotions, I've defined emotions as neurochemical responses of the body to thought. Okay? And the body that feels emotions, urges, and appetites cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. We could go through a scenario here where I have you cut a lemon in half, bite into the lemon, and you will begin to salivate, though there are no lemons here, because the body cannot distinguish the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So what do you think happens to people that stay focused over here? They catastrophize. And as they look at these worst case scenarios or those negative what ifs, they cannot do that unscathed. You can't have a single thought without feeling it physically. And if they do that long enough, they'll get sick. So again, good motivation to stay focused on the goals. Now the last 2 points are that this subconscious mind responds best to the present tense. just start feeling a little stress and say to yourself, I am in control. Whatever you were saying to yourself that was creating the stress, it might have been, oh, I'll never get this finished. It isn't fair. Whatever you were saying brought it up. And as soon as you realize it and you say, I am in control, the adrenaline will just drop right down. And you will be in control. And so, present tense. I will always give you suggestions in the present tense. And I want your self-talk to reflect the same. And then the last point is this subconscious mind doesn't hear negatives. It doesn't hear don't or won't or not. If I say to you, don't think of a shiny red Corvette, what happens? You see the Corvette in your mind. And so, knowing that, I'll always give you suggestions in a positive mode. And I'd like your self-talk to reflect the same. Instead of focusing on the negative. If I tell a child, my son, don't play across the street. In his mind, I just took him across the street. So I would say instead, son, I'd like you to play right here in this part of the yard. Okay. Now let's talk about hypnosis. It is simply a matter of going into the subconscious mind. We are in and out a dozen times a day. We slip into a trance easily. Kids in schools, they daydream. They basically trance out. The teacher may call their name 2 or 3 times and they're just gone. Where'd they go? Out to the lake or somewhere else. What'd they do? They altered their state of awareness, which is another definition for hypnosis. So humans simply have an innate ability for going into a trance. And so, we take that innate ability and begin to drop in suggestions that are very relaxing